Welcome to the counseling of the ridge analysis report. This video will explain to you the essential elements of this technology and the way to understand the report of your child. I am presuming that Ru Education would have mailed you the report of your child, and you would have taken a printout of that report, and now you are watching this video with the printout in your hand. What I'll be explaining to you in this video is the common aspects of the ridge analysis report. These are common to all the children. I'll also explain one particular report on the screen on the basis of which you will be able to understand how to understand and interpret the report of your child which has been sent to you. There will still be some more elements remaining to be explained, and that I will do, or my counselors will do, in a separate one-on-one call with you, video call with you. So what you need to do is to watch this video twice. First time you watch the video carefully, you understand the whole concept properly and digest it. Second time you watch the video, and this time you do all the necessary markings and calculations on your child's report according to the explanations given in this video. And once this is done, you will send a message to the executive who is in touch with you, and you will say that you are ready with the markings on your child's report, and then we will set up a video call with our counselor. And in that video call, in 10-15 minutes, our counselor will be able to explain to you the unique aspects specifically applicable to your child's report. Now, let's first understand the technology of ridge analysis. This is the second page in your report. If you see the lower picture, it shows clearly the two hemispheres of the brain, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. From the front to the back, both the hemispheres of the brain have 5 clear segments. Now, this is the prefrontal segment. So this is left brain prefrontal, this is right brain prefrontal. This is shown as the red color portion in the picture above. This is the postfrontal portion, left brain and right brain. In the center of the head, these are the parietal portions, which is shown as the green color part in the picture above. And these are the yellow color portions, temporal portions in between the 2 ears. And behind the eyes, right at the back, the blue color portion, which is shown in the picture above, this is the occipital portion. So 5 portions in the left brain and 5 portions in the right brain. 5 portions of the left brain are connected to 5 fingers of the right hand. 5 portions of the right brain are connected to 5 fingers of the left hand. Every single talent in every single human being on the planet is controlled by one or the other of these 10 portions of the human brain. Wherever, in whichever segment of the brain God gives higher talent, in that segment of the brain, neuron density will be higher. More neurons, more brain cells will assemble at one place in that segment. And the finger connected to that segment of the brain will have higher density of fingerprints, which means more lines on the fingerprints. Wherever the talent is less in the brain, in that segment, the neuron density will be lesser, and the connected finger will have lesser fingerprint density, which means lesser lines in the fingerprints. Therefore, when we scan the fingerprints and analyze this data in the software of the brain, this report comes out. Now, this report will give you 3 critical informations about your child. 1, where is the strength? Where is the weakness? 2, what is the growth rate of the 10 portions of his brain? Brain grows in the first 15 years, 80 to 90% in the first 6 years. Every part of the brain grows at a different rate. For every child, it is different. So for your child's report, what is the growth rate for the 10 portions of his brain? This is the second information. The third information you will get is what is the learning style of your child. Some children learn faster by seeing or reading. Some others learn faster by hearing, and yet others learn faster by doing an activity. So once we have this information about your child, then we can plan the activities needed to be done with him or her up to the age of 15 years for enhancing the IQ of your child. At different ages, the activities are different. For every different area of the brain, the activities are different. And I'll explain all those things to you here in this report through a sample report on the screen. And then you can accordingly apply it to your child's report, which you are holding with you. Now, this is a typical report. As you can see, there are 4 portions of the brain on the left side of the brain picture. The lower portion is prefrontal brain. The upper portion is postfrontal brain. On the right side, there are 3 portions. So parietal portion is on top. Temporal portion is on the bottom. In the middle of the right side is the occipital portion. Now, the prefrontal portion of the brain is connected to the first finger, which is thumbs. So left brain prefrontal is connected to right thumb. Right brain prefrontal is connected to left thumb. So we'll mark 1 here on the prefrontal portion. Postfrontal portion is connected to the index fingers, to the second finger. So we mark 2 here. Parietal portions on the right side top are connected to the middle fingers. So we mark 3 here. At the bottom, temporal portions are connected to the ring fingers. So we mark 4 here. And behind the eyes, occipital portions in the middle part of the right side, they are connected to the little finger, so we mark 5 here. The numbers in each segment on both left and right brain, they are the number of lines on the fingerprints of the connected fingers, which happens before birth. So at the time of birth, these lines are existing. The total of the lines of all the 10 fingers put together is given just below TFRC, which means total finger ridge count. In this case, the sample report, it is 227. When we divide this number by 10, we get average per finger, which is for this report 22.7. From this average, plus 20% or greater than that is strength. Minus 20% or less than that is weakness. Now, 20% of 22.7 is approximately 4.5. So when you add 4.5 to 22.7, you get 27.2, which means any finger having more than 27.2 lines, the connected brain portion is strong. When you deduct that 4.5 from 22.7, you get 18.2, which means any finger having less than 18.2 lines, the connected brain portion is weak. From 18.2 to 22.7, if any finger has lines, we will call it as average minus. From 22.7 to 27.2, when a finger has the number of lines there in that segment, we will call it as average plus. More than 27.2 is strength, less than 18.2 is weakness. Now, this is the formula for understanding this sample report. You will have to work out a similar formula for your child in your child's report when you see this video a second time after understanding the technology properly the first time. So now with this position at birth, the number of lines on the 10 fingerprints which are given above at the time of birth. Now, these are all plotted in the table below in the first line. The table has 3 lines. So there is first line, which is strength of brain cells at birth. Just above this first line, if you see, you have left brain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have right brain on the right side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So left brain 1 in the first line, if you see the number, it is 28.75. On the picture above, if you see first segment left brain, it is 28.75. First segment right brain in the picture above is 26.45. So in the table, right brain 1 first line is 26.45. In the second segment, left brain in the picture above is 18.4. And therefore, in the table, you see left brain 2 in the first line is 18.4. Second segment, right brain in the picture above is 16.1. So right brain 2 is 16.1 in this table in the first line. Third left is 15.4. So left brain 3 is 15.4 in the first line. Third right is 19.8. So right brain 3 is 19.8 in the first line. Fourth left in the picture above is 27.6. So left brain 4 is 27.6 in the first line. Fourth right in the picture above is 25.3. So right brain 4 is 25.3 in the first line. Similarly, fifth left in the picture above is 26.4. So fifth left brain in the first line is 26.4. Fifth right is 22.8. So right brain 5 is 22.8 in the first line. So first line gives you the same numbers which are there on the top, which is the strength of brain cells at birth. Second line in the report is the brain growth factor. As I said, brain grows from 0 to 15 years, and every part of the brain grows at a different rate. For this report, left brain 5 is growing at 20%. 1 is the birth position, 0.2 is the growth rate. So 20% for left brain 5, 15% for left brain 4, 10% for left brain 3, 15, 15, 15, 15 for left brain 2, 1 right brain 1 and right brain 2, 10% for right brain 3, 15% for right brain 4, and 20% for right brain 5. For your child's report, this may be different. Every child's growth rate is different. Now, first line gives you the strength of brain cells at birth, which means 0 age. Second line gives you the brain growth factor from 0 to 15. Now, first line multiplied by second line is equal to third line. This is performance at or after 15 years. The most important thing to understand in this report is it is impossible to change the first line. Whatever God-given talent is there. You can't do anything about it. But you can multiply the second line. The brain growth factor can be multiplied. And the earlier you start, the faster you can multiply it. And the more you multiply the second line, the third line performance, the IQ will increase for this child. And that increased enhanced IQ will remain forever with the child. So now let us look at each area of the brain and understand what to do to improve the brain growth factor in that area. So first left, if you look at the picture above, the talents this controls, this part of the brain controls, is communication, planning, and execution. These are qualities of good business managers. And this 28.75 in the first line is growing by 15% in the second line, and first line multiplied by second line is 33.06 in the third line. Now 33.06 is about 50% more than the average 22.7. So it's not just strength, it is S plus plus plus. It's a big, big strength for this child. First right controls leadership, creation, and visionary qualities. Creation is the ability to create something new from scratch. And visionary qualities is Durdrashti, long-term thinking. These are qualities of good business leaders. And this right brain 1 in the third line, if you see, is 30.42. So this is about 40% more than the average. We would call it as S double plus. Postfrontal left brain, second left. This 10% area of the brain controls the entire academic education of the child. The remaining 90% of the brain has nothing to do with school and college. This 10%, postfrontal left brain, controls logical and language ability. Logic means maths and science. Language means Hindi, Telugu, Marwadi, or any other regional language that you are teaching the child. This is the academic area. Now, if you look at maths, in the first 6 years, what has to be done for growing this academic area? Everything will be taken care of by the Kaushalya Genius Kid program. You don't have to worry. But after 6 years, what is it that you have to do for enhancing the IQ of your child in the academic area? For math, you need to put your child in abacus. You can also put him in Vedic math or the Korean technology called as Kumon. Abacus is Japanese, Vedic math is Indian. Now, these are all mental mathematics. And abacus has got 8 or 10 levels, which you can do in about 2.5 years. Similarly, Vedic math also has got levels. You need to complete all levels as quickly as possible. When your child's brain is used to do mental mathematics through one of these 3 technologies, his mathematical logic will improve. The second subject is science. This is also logical. For this, you need to put the child in chess. And you can put the child in chess from 4 years of age. Chess is a highly logical game. So as long as the child is playing chess, his mind's logic is continuously being worked. And therefore, the scientific logic will improve with chess. Chess doesn't have numbers, but abacus has numbers. So mathematical logic improves with abacus or Vedic math or Kumon also. Now, coming to languages, there are 3 aspects: speaking, reading, and writing. The track of speaking is listening, understanding, speaking. When you continuously listen to a language, your brain understands that language and then you start speaking that language. Without listening, you cannot speak any language. This is why deaf children are dumb also. Now, the mistake parents make is they speak only the mother tongue at home. So the child has an opportunity to listen to only one language at home in early childhood. And therefore, he learns to speak only one language. And therefore, the language ability of his brain grows only to the extent required to learn one language. If you speak to the child in 4, 5, 6 languages at home, the child will learn to speak 5, 6 languages and his language ability will grow 5, 6 times more. So the technique we suggest is conversation. What it means is the person who speaks the best English at home should speak to the child only in English. The person who speaks the best Hindi at home should speak to the child only in Hindi. The person who speaks the best Marwadi or any regional language at home should speak to the child only in that language. This is conversation. The second aspect is storytelling. Now, this you can do from 3 years up to about 9, 10 years with your children. Now, the person who's speaking in English to the child should tell stories in English. The person who's speaking Hindi to the child should tell stories in Hindi. Accordingly, the people who are speaking in regional languages should tell the story in regional language. Lot of drama, excitement, mystery, novelty, suspense, thrill, action you have to create while telling the story. Never tell in a boring fashion. Your pronunciation, sentence formation, grammar has to be immaculate. In a 12 to 15 minute story that you're saying to the child, introduce 5 to 6 or 7 new words of that language. You told the story in a very dramatic fashion. The child's interest is gripped in the story. Now introduce a new word. The child's story is stuck because he doesn't know this word. So he'll badly want you to tell him the meaning of this word. In the context of the story, explain the meaning of the word. Then go on for another 2-3 minutes, one more new word. Again, explain the meaning of this word. Like this, in 15 minutes, you add 6-7 new words. So through this device of storytelling, you're teaching the child pronunciation, sentence formation, grammar, vocabulary. Despite these efforts, you still, if you notice that one of the languages is not very fluent, it needs to grow a little bit more. Let's say English is not fluent. Then the third thing you can do is to use television or audio-visual devices. Definitely not before 2 years. After 2 years, maximum of 1 hour a day. Before 2 years, Kaushalya Ji's kid program employs only 10 minutes of time on the screen. So, the rule for television or audiovisual device is channel, child's choice. Language, parent's choice. If your child wants to see Pogo, show him Pogo. But if you want to improve his spoken English, show him Pogo only in English. He'll struggle for 15 days, 20 days, a month or month and a half. But after that, slowly, he'll start understanding the language. And once he understands, he will start speaking fluently in that language. So these 3 things, conversation, storytelling, and television or audiovisual devices, they're all for listening, which improves speaking. The other 2 aspects of linguistic intelligence are reading and writing. And the track of learning there is reading, understanding, writing. When we read literature in a particular language repeatedly, our brain slowly understands how this language is written. And therefore, your own written expression in that language improves. So therefore, at about 4.5, 5 years, when the child begins to read small things, small books, then you give him reading materials. And the rule for reading material is also the same as TV. Subject, child's choice. Language, parent's choice. So if your child is interested in animals, give him small animal books. In which language? Give him in a language that you want to see he increasing or improving in his written expression. Because the language that the child reads, his brain will understand how to write that, and slowly his written expression improves. So all this is the academic area of the child, postfrontal left brain. This has to be your first priority. Even if the child is strong in this area, your child, here it is actually 21.16, 18.4, second left multiplied 15% to 21.16. So this child is average minus. Your child may be strong. Even then, this has to be first priority. The postfrontal right brain, second right, controls spatial intelligence and creativity. Space means place, using space intelligently like architects do or interior designers do. And creativity is the ability of the brain to generate new ideas, find new solutions. Now, this for this report is 18.52, second right. So this is also A minus. Now, the way to improve this right from 1 year to about 15 years, I'm giving different activities to you here. You start with scribbling, then you go on to coloring, then drawing, then painting, art and craft, and finally calligraphy. If the child is a girl, you can add mehendi, rangoli, embroidery, and all those things. These things will improve the spatial intelligence and creativity. And exactly the same things can be done for third left, which controls fine motor skills. Now, for this child, this is a weak area because the third line is in third left is 16.94. So since it's less than 18.2, it is weak. To improve this area, the same activities which improve second right, because fine motor skills means the activities which you do with fingers. So all these activities, scribbling, coloring, drawing, painting, art and craft, mehendi, rangoli, embroidery, calligraphy, all these are done by fingers. And the more you do these activities, the better the control of the finger the child will have. His fine motor skills will improve. So for this child, since it is weak, his handwriting may not be very good. So after doing all these activities also, still if the handwriting doesn't improve, you will have to further do handwriting classes for this child. Third, right controls gross motor skills. These are activities which the child does with the whole body. Dance, for example, games, sports, then yogasanas, martial arts, where employing the whole body, the child is doing an activity. For this child, it is 21.78, right brain 3. So this is about average minus. To improve this right from childhood, you can start with dance. For this child, dance is very good because his musical intelligence is very good. Fourth left, it's 31.74, so it's S double plus actually. Dance is always done with music. So the average quality of the body intelligence can be improved by using dance as a means, because dance is an activity which is done by music always, done with music always, and therefore the fourth left is strong here. That is the musical intelligence, the understanding of 7 swaras, ragas, rhythm, beat. This is strong for this child. So dance is one activity. The second you can do is swimming in early childhood. You can also add gymnastics at 4 years. And from 6 years onwards, you can add sports, etc., all that. So fourth left is auditory and language comprehension, which means the ability to listen and understand, which is S double plus for this child. So this child understands saptaswaras, ragas, rhythm, beat, all that. And therefore, the way to grow this talent further is to play music 24/7 at home. You can play shlokas, mantras, bhajans, geet, ghazal, instrumental music, different frequencies of sound. This child should be made to hear as often as possible, because that will wire up his brain for musical notes. Another thing you can do for fourth left is to teach him singing at about 5 years age. In singing, he'll employ not just the understanding of swaras, but also control over voice, which is the fourth right, 29.1. So this is S plus. Through singing, you develop fourth left as well as fourth right, because control over voice is also to be employed while singing. For this child, you can also teach him tabla to improve his control over fingers, fine motor skills. Because playing tabla employs understanding of music, which is very strong for him. Fourth left is S double plus, but the control over fingers is weak. So tabla is the right activity for this child. We can use the fourth left strength to develop the third left weakness. Similarly, with singing, we can develop not only fourth left, but also fourth right, control over voice. There are 2 other specific activities for developing the fourth right area. At 8 years, you must put the child through training of acting in drama or theater. So he will learn to use the stage well. His body language will improve. They will teach him voice training, tonality, modulation, pace, pause, pitch, punctuation, all that, expressions on the face, laying the right stress on the right word to explain to communicate your voice clearly to the audience. All this will be trained. Another important thing that happens with these activities, particularly these 4 activities: dance, singing, drama, acting, and public speaking, is these are all activities of self-expression. So the child, if at all the child is a shy child, the shyness will be removed with these activities. And it is important for a report like the one which I'm showing on the screen. The management talent is very good. Leadership talent is very good. The ability to speak and convince and communicate is very good. But if the child is shy, all these abilities will be hidden. You will never know these abilities of the child. Therefore, these 4 activities of self-expression, dance, singing, drama, and public speaking, are extremely important. The 5th left area controls visual and observation comprehension, means the ability to see and understand. This is also quite strong, 31.68, so it's S++. Now, this can further improve by showing the cards, which we do in Kaushalya Genius Kit program, reading cards, encyclopedic knowledge cards, dot cards to improve mathematical intelligence. With that, the observation improves. You can also give the child observation games. Sometimes in newspapers or magazines, you find 10 differences between the 2 pictures side by side. So that requires observation for you to find out those 10 differences. Such games you can give for improving observation. 5th right is visualization, visual and image appreciation, the ability to imagine a future outcome from a current reality. This also is strong for this child, 27.36. Now, these are qualities of designers. So, an architect, interior designer, jewelry designer, games designer, graphic designer, all these people, any kind of designing, they require the visualization to be strong. And the way to strengthen this further, this 5th right, is also exactly the same activities which you do for 2nd right and 3rd left, which is what? Coloring, drawing, painting, art and craft, calligraphy, mehendi, rangoli, embroidery, all these activities. Because when you draw the first line, you already visualize the final picture in your mind. So this improves visualization. Now, this is the talent profile marking that you must understand. You have to use the same technology, same method to mark the report that you have got for your child exactly on the same lines. Now, these are marked strengths according to software. Software goes by only the fingerprint. So the first line is the birth position at birth. Second line is the growth rate from 0 to 15 years as programmed by the divine. Third line is what it should be if you don't change anything in this table. This software cannot take into account what parents can do with the child. They can multiply the second line. And if they do that, either through some training programs or special effort by the mother or some special effort with the teachers at school or child's own effort, if he has improved any one of those brain growth factors in the second line, the performance in that area in the third line will be more than what is being predicted here in this software. So that we will cover when our counselor interacts with you on the video call individually to explain your child's report. This is page number 4, and this gives you the learning style of your child. So on top is visual learning through eyes, in the middle is auditory learning through ears, and at the bottom is kinesthetic learning through activities. If all three are 33%, there is nothing for you to do. But in this sample report which I am showing and the report which you are having for your child, maybe it is different from that. So in this report, you can see auditory learning is the highest, 38.5%. Next is visual learning, which is 36%. Least is the kinesthetic learning, which is learning through activities, 25.5%. So this child, even if he writes down something 2-3 times, he will not understand so much. What enters his brain through the ears, he will grasp faster. And next is what enters his brain through the eyes. So therefore, the study suggestions are given on the left side of the auditory learning percentage. If you see, particularly serial number 3, 4, and 5 are important. Third one says read out loud. So whenever this child reads loudly, eyes are seeing, ears are hearing. And what goes into his brain through the ears, he learns faster. Next one is include whole group discussions. So if you don't understand, the child doesn't understand a particular concept, he should discuss with the teachers or his friends or discuss with parents. Because in discussion, the information goes through the ears and that he understands faster. And the last one there, fifth one, is watch audio visuals for study purpose. Naturally, because audio learning is the highest, next is visual learning. So audio visuals will help him grasp the subject faster. For your child, it may be different. So look at what is his learning style. The career graph, again, now given on page number 5 of your report. Again, this is as per software. So therefore, in this report, you will find chartered accountancy is low because his academics is average. Mathematics, that is engineering, is low. Banking and finance, these are all logical subjects and therefore it's low. Law is good because his communication is good. His ability to convince is good. Management is good because his management and leadership both are good. So those are the two natural talents and therefore suggested as natural higher studies and career path. But if the parent has multiplied the academics in early childhood and that growth rate, and therefore his scores are much more than what is being indicated in the report here, then many other paths will open for this child. He can do medicine, he can do software, he can do engineering, he can do biotech, pharma, so many other CA, chartered accountancy. All these, once the academics improves, even civil services, because management leadership is already good, if academics is also added, then even civil services becomes an option. So all these things open up when something changes in the report because of the special effort of the parents. So this part will be considered and counseled in the individual counseling over the video call. Another factor that we need to consider is the family background. For example, this child, law is a natural talent. But if there is no lawyer in the family of this child, then he will have to struggle for 15, 20 years to set up his own practice. Alternately, if there is a lawyer in the family, then law becomes the first choice. If there is a business in the child's family, MBA becomes the first choice. So family background also is to be considered, and that will be done in the individual counseling that you will have over the video call with our counselors. 6th page gives you a broad balance between left brain and right brain. For this report, it is 51.34% left brain and 48.66% right brain. So it's slightly more stronger on the left brain side, right? Broadly speaking, left brain is logical, analytical, reasoning oriented, step-by-step fragmenting and understanding anything. Right brain is more emotional and therefore all activities driven by emotions like music, dance, painting, art and craft, acting, all these are right brain activities. So this generally tells you what is the dominance in the child. So for this child, therefore, MBA is a good course. For him, law is a good course because it's little left brain oriented. If the percentages are too much apart, there's a lot of difference, then we can do something to balance the left and the right brain. For 2-3% here and there, it doesn't matter. Coming to the last page of the report now. On the upper part, you have got a multiple intelligence profile. Howard Gardner, professor of education in Harvard and also a psychologist, he gave the theory of multiple intelligence, which is now used in most modern schools. He talked of 8 intelligences, and those are percentages are given here on the top. We, of course, have defined 10 portions in the human brain, and those percentages have been explained to you. Coming to the lower part, his primary personality is steady. His secondary personality is also steady. In your report, these two may be same, may be different. Now, primary personality is what the child is from within, actually. And secondary personality is what the child comes across in his behavior with others, how others see him. So in this case, his both primary and secondary personalities are steady, and steady is therefore on the right side bottom. So this child's personality is people or relationship oriented, team player, cooperative, supportive, peaceful approach, limited risk taker, uses sugar-coated language, sweet way of speaking, loyal, friendly, hardworking. This is generally the personality of this child. In your report, it may be different. So please accordingly understand the personality of your child. So this is how you understand this report. I wish that you see this video a second time again with your child's report in the hand and mark all the points which have been marked in this report. And once you complete that exercise of marking, and then you inform the executive who is in touch with you that you have completed the marking, then a video call will be set up. And in 10 to 15 minutes of that video call, the unique aspects of your child's report will be explained to you. And that's how the counseling goes. Thank you very much. God bless you.